Hello, my Aries friends. This is Kristen Redman, Astrological Intuitive, and today we are going to be discussing what the skies have in store for you in the coming year of 2021. And 2021 is set to be an interesting year for all of us. We're trying to find the stability and the new ground that's under all of our feet that all of the astrological alignments of 2020 had in store to really flip what we knew upside down and create a new world. And here we go into Aries. Aries, you are the leader, right? You're the leader of the zodiac. You're the very first sign of the zodiac. And so you are being called on both personally, professionally, at home, in all these different ways to really take charge and be the leader of not only your life, but the leader of others in this time when we're really trying to find the new stability under our feet. And it takes fiery signs like Aries who know who they are to help lead that charge. Now, 2021 is going to be an interesting year for you, in fact, because what's happening is Jupiter is out there in the sky, really getting things networking, connecting you with new people, new groups, new people of like mind for who you are now. They're going to help catapult you and move you into areas of new abundance like you haven't seen over the next several years. You have some alignments that are coming up that we're going to talk about that, really focused on money and self-worth. These new groups are going to be helping you that you get established with this year, really helping moving you forward. And 2021 is also going to be a year of communication breakdowns and communication reassessment, right? How do you communicate and how do you get your thoughts and your needs across? That's what 2021 really has in store. Networking you and reassessing how you communicate your thoughts and your needs to those around you and also to yourself. All right, so let's start it out with the money. Let's start with money, shall we? So Aries, what has happened for you? Starting in 2010, leading up to 2018, we had Uranus, the planet of unexpected things, moving through your sign. Hasn't been there for 80 years, so this was a first for you. And like I said earlier, Aries, you are the first sign of the zodiac. You represent the self, and you represent knowing the self. Now, when you have a planet full of electricity like Uranus going through your sign for that many years, it puts you upside down. And it said, who am I? What do I want? That's what Uranus does. It throws unexpected events and people at us to make us really reassess who we are and what it is we want moving forward. What's authentic to you? Uranus will take things away from you, make unexpected things happen to really have you go within and go, oh, that's right, this doesn't work for me anymore. Maybe it worked for me 10 years ago, but it isn't true and authentic to who I am now. So it was quite a reassessment period. It caused a lot of depression for Aries, which is something that people aren't used to seeing you. You withdrew, you went within, and you really spent a lot of time focusing on what it is that you do need, okay? Now that it's moved out of your sign and it's moving into Taurus, which happened and it really started stabilizing last year in the sign of Taurus. Taurus is a sign of stability, right? So you can see we're around the world for all of us. Definitely Uranus has made an impact on our stability and what we knew as the structures under our feet. But for you, where this is making a huge impact starting last year, moving into 2026, Uranus is in your house of money, finances, possessions, and self-worth. All things you hold of value. Uranus is going to be moving through there, and because it takes several years for it to make its transit through that sign, look at everything it did in your house of personality for those 10 years and how it really got you to understand who you are and what you want moving forward, right? Now it's working on your house of finances where it hasn't been for 80 years. Now, yes, that means that some unexpected events may come through in these areas, but what it's really pushing you for is planning for the future, getting that stability and that financial freedom working with you. Not only do we have that base happening, we also have Mars, your ruling planet, the fire, the engine that makes everything work in this solar system here is Mars, and it's your ruling planet. So when Mars moves into a sign, when Mars makes an impact, it's going to affect you. Last year in 2020, Mars went into a retrograde period where it slowed down. The engine slowed down for all of us. We can see it, but it especially slowed down for you, really making you step back and reassess your actions or inaction in certain areas of your life that you really need to see things moving. All right, because you're in Aries, because you're ruled by that warrior spirit of Mars, a lot of times, and I think you'll agree with me on this one, you will jump because you're brave, and you will jump before really thinking through and getting a plan, because you have that bravery that pushes you, that says, I have to act now. Sometimes that's good, sometimes it's not so good, right? That impulsiveness can get the best of you. Maybe sometimes you jump too soon in relationships. Maybe sometimes you jump ship too quickly when in an argument, and you move ahead and you say things quicker than you should. And that fiery Aries energy gets moving. With Mars moving through this finance house, where Uranus is really starting to turn things up, pushing for that financial freedom for you. Mars coming through where it hasn't been for 2 years. This year is really starting to clear out that stagnated energy, because that's what it's doing. It's trying to get that engine moving in that house of finances again. And so you'll find that as it's moving through there, you're going to have opportune periods where you have more confidence to go after money. You're going to have more confidence now, because remember, you've had several years where you're reassessing what works for you and what doesn't. Career falls into that category as well. So now this is the time when the confidence really comes back for you to stand up for yourself in this house of self-worth, saying, I deserve more. I deserve more money. So this is going to be a year that you find where January to March, where Mars is moving through the second house of finances. And also, again, it's going to make a repeat in the other financial sector of your chart in the 8th house in October to December of this year as well. These are going to be opportune periods for you where your confidence is shored up, where you're able to go to the boss and say, I need to make more money. I need to have more opportunities. I need to have this. And because there's so much astrological energy working with you, because you do understand what it is and you need and your true worth, that's the major caveat to this, is understanding what you really deserve and standing up for yourself to get it. When you do that in these opportune periods, the money will naturally follow. All right. Now we're going to move on. As Mars continues to move through this bottom sector of your chart where it hasn't been for 2 years, it's also going to be making a move into your house of home and family. So that's the next area we're going to focus on. With Mars moving there, I have a very strong feeling for you, Aries. This is a year where you're going to want to do some major improvements on your house or your living situation or family situation in general. All right, it can take on a lot of different flavors, but the first one we're going to look at is actual moving of residence. I see this happening for a lot of Aries, and this is going to be happening in the early June into mid-June. Let's just say June in general, right? In that time frame, where there's going to be that push to say, I have outgrown this area and I need to move. Something that works better for you, something that works with your energy more so. This also falls into the area of renovations. So if you want to expand, make things happen, Mars is going to give you the energy and the push to get that going. But let's also look at that for family, all right? Both the physical family that's in that home, and also with childhood roots as well too. As Mars goes through here in June, it's going to be bringing up issues, right? Mars likes to instigate things through anger and through fighting. So you may find that there's some interesting dynamics that are happening within your household come June, come the beginning part of that summer. What it's going to do is it's going to call on themes that happened from the same time frame in 2019. Let's say you wanted to start something in 2019 with the family. Let's say you're saying with your husband at that time, or your wife or your kids, I need this to change. Okay, Uranus has been doing its number on you for those several years, helping you to recognize what it is you do need to be the true authentic you. Let's say you brought this up in 2019 and say, I need this to change. Hasn't changed. Let's say it hasn't changed. Come June, as Mars comes through that home and family sector, you're going to be able to verbalize and confidently say, I needed this to happen. It did not happen. Now I'm ready to say this. Now I'm ready to do this, right? Because Mars isn't just about talk. It's all about action. So you're going to see action happening in this area, really pushing out that stagnated old energy that doesn't work in terms of home and family, and really pushing in this new spring air energy into it, vitality in life that really needs to be there. Okay, maybe this is the push to start a family for some of you Aries, where pinning you down is a little bit hard, right? Because you're so full of independent energy. Maybe this is a year as Mars goes through there, you're finding that you're ready to really start establishing roots in the home. So let's move on to that too, right? Let's think about that. Moving on to love. This is an interesting year for you, my Aries friends. Okay, like I said earlier, a lot of times maybe you'll just jump without thinking, okay? And that especially can be in the area of romance, okay? You are full of romance, you are full of energy, you're full of fire, and sometimes that fire can take you over and you don't necessarily think, you just want to jump, right? You're following those impulses. This is a year where Mercury, the planet of the mind and communication, retrogrades in all of your communication sectors in your chart. This is a year where you're going to really scale it back and recognize and realize where jumping without that thought process ahead of time has gotten you in trouble, where it lands you into certain cycles that repeat again and again in terms of relationship. How do my words and my thoughts create the actions that create the cycles that repeat? That is going to be so much at the forefront this year, and you're going to find that in those Mercury retrograde periods, especially the one that happens at the end of the summer, August 30th, and that goes until November 6th, where you really start to recognize maybe where you did not speak up for yourself in relationships in the past. Maybe you knew you were getting yourself into something bad, but you just didn't have the confidence to stop it early enough, and you got yourself so involved that you got into relationships that didn't work for your better good. Now you see it differently, right? Maybe this is a situation, we're saying that you're starting a new relationship here. This is where you recognize, wait a second, I know when I need to verbalize these things, and I know that I have the confidence now that Mars has returned and given me the strength to stand up for myself through all these things I've learned about myself. Now you're going to be able to verbalize that better in relationships. So this is going to be a year where the universe is going to test you, all right? Maybe it's one of those things where you started something 2 years ago with your husband and said, I need this to change. I need this because this is who I am. The Mercury retrogrades are going to come back this year, and they're going to have you saying, okay, how are we going to word this differently so the change moves forward, so we can have this new energy in the home and the family. This is definitely going to be a year where communication on all fronts takes on a new flavor. Now, speaking of new things, okay, when we look for new energy in someone's chart as astrologers, we look to see where the eclipses are happening and in what houses, okay? So in general, for you, Aries, my friends, this is happening in your houses of, yet again, the mind and communication. There's a lot of new energy that's coming through. If you're willing to make those changes, the universe is 100% behind you to make your communication style different, so you can be heard differently as well. Now, where these eclipses are happening, one of the major ones is going to be on May 26th for travel. I see this being a year for you, Aries, where you learn a lot about yourself and what it is that you want by getting back to your roots and traveling to those areas where your roots are from, whether it's family, places you've always wanted to go, past life ties that are coming to you that are saying, I need to go to this area because I'll understand things better. Follow those hunches, especially if it's in that May area, because it's really going to help you connect with yourself. Not only are you connecting with yourself on a tangible level, the 9th house where this is going to be occurring deals with your spirituality. I think this is a year where you're learning how to not only communicate with those around you physically, but you're also learning to follow the intuition that's within yourself and your direct connection with God, that direct lifeline that comes through that brings those messages and those answers for the guidance that you need moving forward. Definitely a year for that. Now, also the ninth house has to deal with pushing past our self-limiting beliefs. I think this has been a time frame where, especially Uranus moving through that house of self-worth and those things that we hold of value, where you're realizing slowly but surely where you hold yourself back based off of self-limiting beliefs. These eclipse cycles that are happening this year are going to help shake that up, push you outside of your comfort zone, and really start to say, that belief doesn't work for me anymore. That way of doing things, that way of thinking, especially that way of communication, doesn't work, and I'm ready to push past that. Maybe this is a year where you go back to school. Maybe this is a year where you start to further your education. Maybe you just start learning a new subject on your own because you're feeling led to it. Follow those intuitive hunches that happen at the time of the eclipses this year. Now, the next thing that we're going to talk about, of course, is Jupiter making all of these major connections with new networks, new people, new ideas, and that also falls into that same category of falling into dreaming new and bigger things, pushing outside of that comfort zone. Now, not only do we have Jupiter moving through, really bringing in opportunities out of nowhere. You might say, well, great, yeah, I want to make new friends, or I want to, get involved with new organizations, but I'm so limited based off of what's happening in the world. Jupiter knows no bounds, all right? Jupiter is going to open up windows where there used to be walls, all right? That is not for you to decide how to make those opportunities happen. They will just happen based off of your faith that they will. Easier said than done, right? But it is. It's true. You know that this world is shifting and changing, and it's happening for the better good of those who have faith. Have faith that the people will show up. Have faith that the opportunities will show up, and they will. Not only will they, this is a 12-year cycle. Hasn't been there since 2008. So think of all the things, the new opportunities and the new people and the new friends that came into your life at that time frame that really helped catapult you, moving you forward. Same things happening now, but this all directly ties in with that self-worth. These are people and situations and opportunities that are going to help grow your abundance in all areas of your life. These are the people that really have the ties that help move you forward over the next 12 years. Not only do you have Jupiter bringing the opportunities, right behind it you have Saturn going through as well. That hasn't been there for 30 years, stabilizing these new connections, making sure that they help build this new solid ground under your feet for the next 20 years. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at certain birthdays, all right? If your birthday falls in the March 24th to April 20th, basically all Aries, what we have is that lucky Jupiter, right? The one that's pushing you outside of your comfort zone, that's bringing in those opportunities. All Aries know that Jupiter is working with you, but you have to have faith in the darkness, especially the darkest of the times where you don't see where these opportunities are going to pop through. Just know that they're going to. And it's encouraging you to stretch yourself, grow yourself, push yourself outside of your limitations, all right, and listen to your intuition. Now, for those of you that have March 24th to April 4th birthday, Saturn, that planet that stabilizes things, okay, is going to be working with your sun, helping to help you prioritize your limits and your boundaries with yourself and with others, right? When you find that, when you start to put those limitations in place, when you start to put those plans in place, it helps to ensure the long-term success for you in the long run, no matter what it is you want to do. But it all comes from having to put a restrictor plate on certain areas in life where they're needed, okay? Which is tough for Aries, right? That's like the anti-Aries. But this is a year where the more that you work with the limitations that are around you, learning to accept the limitations that are around you and to learn the boundaries that work best for you because of the limitations you're dealing with. Long-term success comes for the next 30 years. Work with it, okay? April 15th to April 17th, really short time frame of window. These are the people that Pluto, the planet of endings and transformation, is going to be working with you. This is a sign where these people that are April 15th to the 17th, I'm telling you, this is a year where you are going to be doing a little bit more introspection. And in that introspection, it's like the caterpillar that turns into the butterfly. You will back away. You will spend time with yourself. You will do some inner journeys. And through those journeys, you really, truly find yourself. And this is a year where purging and purifying is first and foremost. I see you being the one that has to let go of things. All right, there has to be a metaphoric death for the rebirth to happen, and you, especially in this little time frame, have to learn what to let go of to embrace the new that's coming through. For all Aries, though, know that your opportune periods this year are going to fall at the new moons and the full moons that deal with Aries. The new moons are the time for you to plant your seeds of manifestation for the new beginnings you want. These new financial beginnings, these new friendships, these new relationships, these new way of communicating, all of that. Really put that energy in at April 11th, okay, at the time of the Aries new moon that happens. Now you'll find that the moon works in tandem. So the seeds that you plant at the Aries new moon on April 11th, you'll start to see changes happening when the Aries full moon occurs October 20th. All right. Full moons are a time where things reach ahead. They reach their completion. You will find that energy is chaotic at that time, October 20th for you, because certain cycles that have to end are going to end in that time frame. All right. So these are the times that are very pivotal for you. You want to start something new, do it in April 11th. You want to end something and you want it to really change, look to the skies October 20th and see what it's showing you in that time frame. In general, my Aries friends, I think the number one thing is to know that your engine is restarting this year. First and foremost, Mars is returning home. It's bringing you the strength to lead yourself in your life in the direction that you need, but it's also helping you lead others in areas too. Listen to your intuition, listen to that inner fire, and it will bring wonderful things in 2021. Thank you.